everyone, welcome to the CNBC TV18 Mumbai studio. I'm Ekta Batra and you're watching Your Stocks this afternoon. Well, joining us today, we have Shahina Mukadam, who's the independent market expert, and Vaishali Parekh, head of tech research at Prabhudas Lilladher, to answer all of your stock queries. Before we kick off the show, as always, Vaishali, wanted your thoughts. It is a news-heavy day because we have a lot of earnings. We have tech stocks which are in focus. What is your approach today, considering that the indices are sluggish, but the broader markets are doing well?
Very good afternoon, ladies. Yes, so market is taking a breather. Yesterday, we saw post the expiry, we got a good close, and well, we were looking at some resistance of 22,650 to 22,700. So we did a high of 22,620, and I guess index is a bit sluggish, but stock-specific movement is witnessed. So I think focus is more on stocks, and even Bank Nifty. Actually, I think there is a slight improvement because Bank Nifty 48,200 was a hurdle for quite a few days. We saw this sector move past that, and I think right now also we are at the support now, which was earlier the resistance. So I guess it's time to see a pickup in banking stocks as well.
Okay. All right, well, let's get in some queries now. It is a day where we are seeing, the Nifty down around 140 odd points, the mid-cap index up around 362 odd points, and the advanced decline ratio steady as well. The first query comes in from Tanmay Patel, who writes to us from Vadodara. He holds 250 shares of Tata Teleservices, which he's bought at around 99 odd rupees per share. So he's sitting on a loss right now, wants to know what to do, whether he should hold or sell at current levels. Well, what would you recommend on this one, Shahina? Sitting on a loss at this point, do you think that one should probably exit?
Yeah, I think one can exit. As we saw in the numbers yesterday, pretty disappointing. Last couple of years, you see the revenues have been stagnant, loss-making. I think there are better opportunities available in the telecom segment, and he can exit.
Okay, all right. So you'd recommend exiting from that particular counter. Well, Vaishali, what would your view be in terms of at least the fundamentals? At least the technical, sorry.
Yes, so actually right now, there has been a very long consolidation, and right now we are seeing the stock trying to bounce back. So I would say that now that he's held on for so long, keep a stop loss of 79 and wait for it to bounce, because if the stock once again bounces above 90, he can see around 100 levels. So I think calculated strategy should be done and keep a stop loss of 79 and hold if he has to.
Okay, well, we have the Bajaj Finserv numbers which have hit the screen as we speak. The net profit is up around 20 odd %. That's what we have. And the NII is up around 25% on a year-on-year basis. Remember that the Bajaj Finance numbers had already come out, and that plus the insurance business is what Bajaj Finserv consists of. So we have to basically concentrate in terms of what the insurance business has reported this quarter. Well, remember that for Bajaj Finance itself, like we mentioned, it had already come out. We had the NII, which was down around 6.74%, and the profit as well. But in any case, well, we need to concentrate a little more on the Bajaj Finserv insurance business performance. As you can see, the net profit is up around 20 odd %, and we have the NII, which is up in double digits as well. Shahina, if you could just give us a sense in terms of what your reading would be on Bajaj Finserv, the initial take?
I think the numbers are okay, but at the same time, valuations at more than 6 times price to book is expensive. Consider the fact that in all its segments, there is going to be increased competition. So this premium valuation, in my view, is likely to result in the stock to consolidate rather than give you a very healthy return over the next 6 months to a year. So I would generally just avoid it.
Okay, so you would avoid Bajaj Finserv. Remember that Bajaj Finance didn't meet our poll expectations. So that's important to point out. It was below the expectations that the street had. We'll get more details with regards to Bajaj Finserv and get you more details. Probably Abhishek could join in with more details in terms of the breakup of the business this time. But Vaishali, how would you approach the twins technically?
So I think technically, it is showing signs of weakness. Bajaj Finance has opened with a gap down, so that shows the inherent weakness. And likewise, even Bajaj Finserv, I don't see much right now. So let's wait for a confirmation if it goes above 1700. But till then, there isn't really much happening in these two stocks.
Okay, all right. Well, we are waiting by for more numbers as well. But in the meantime, let's get in some more queries. We have Suchitra Sharma, who writes to us from Chandigarh, holds 25 shares of Indigo, which is bought at around 3,236, wants to know whether to book her profits or to stay invested in Indigo. Currently sitting on a profit. So what would you recommend on this one, Vaishali? I'm going to ask you first on the technicals for Interglobe.
Yes, the stock has moved one way actually, even if I'm seeing the weekly chart, right from 2300 to towards close towards 4000. So, there is no exhaustion in the indicators. So, continue holding with the trailing stop loss. This stock, in all likelihood, can go towards 4200, 4500. So, I would say the trend is pretty strong, but keep holding with the trailing stop loss.
Okay, all right. And now on the fundamentals, what would you recommend on Interglobe, Shahina? Is it a long-term buy?
Well, see, at least in the shorter term, there looks to be some momentum given the fact that it's in the news because of its latest order that it's placed for 30 aircraft, which will start coming in, I think, 2027. But the fact remains is that they have actually performed very well in terms of stock price. And a lot of the improvement in performance, actually FY24, they met the whatever targets were set. So at the same time, I think a lot of the the performance is there in the price as of now. While they are expected to do better next year, given the fact that they are planning to have a double-digit increase in capacity as well as it's increasing its footage in the international space. But at the same time, I think at some point, maybe 10% higher. One can switch to something more safer if you're a long-term investor. I would prefer something like a four-wheeler stock. You can go for a Maruti, Tata Motors, rather than an airline stock for the long-term investor. Otherwise, it looks like there seems to be some momentum left. You can hold with a stop loss.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, we now have Sachin Bora, who writes to us from Mumbai, holds 120 shares of UPL, which is bought at 447, asking if he can add more shares or probably even stay invested at these current levels. He's sitting on a profit now. Shahina, would you recommend probably building on that?
No, in fact, I would recommend exit whatever he's holding even as of now. I think, they are making losses and there is some bit more, I think it'll take some more time for the agrochemical industry to actually start showing growth. You have high inventories still that are there. China is a factor again over here. So I would suggest the other stocks that are available in the chemical space also, I would suggest an exit.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Vaishali, on the technicals for UPL?
So I would say actually the stock is showing signs of reversal. So of course, right now it is very much at a nascent stage. So once the stock moves above 525, I think the stock can go towards 540, 545. And compared to if he would want to, he should get into stocks like Deepak Nitrite and all because chartically they are showing a lot of strength as compared to UPL. So I would recommend to have a switch. And if not, then continue holding for 540.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the view coming in on UPL. Well, Rahul Sharma now writes to us from Bhopal. He holds 18 shares of Shriram Finance at 1924. Long-term investor wants to know the future prospects of his investment. Well, Shriram Finance is going to be in focus today on account of numbers. What would you recommend, Vaishali, on this, on Shriram?
I would say, actually, we don't play results, but it's just a sideways move, so I don't want to comment much on this. Let's wait it out for the result and then take a call.
Okay, all right. And, it's sluggish ahead of that. Vaishali, Shahina, what is your recommendation on it?
I I think it's one of the better NBFCs in the space as of now, with a price to book around 2 times. I don't think too much can go wrong for the stock in terms of numbers. You have the consolidation that took place with its Shriram Transport as well as Shriram City Union Finance. I think as a consolidated entity, it should do much better. So one should continue to hold in my view.
Okay, all right. Well, it is definitely the financials which are a bit sluggish. There's IndusInd Bank reacting to numbers down 3% odd. We have Bajaj Finserv, which is down around 3.3%. And we have Bajaj Finance, which is the top loser on the Nifty. That stock is down around 8.8% at this point in time. So that seems to be the key theme which is playing out. On the upside, it's definitely the tech stocks. So Tech M is your top gain on the Nifty, up around 8% odd. LTI Mindtree up around 3.5% odd. Wipro as well doing well in today's trading session. So all of those stocks are managing to gain at this point in time. Well, on that note, we need to take a short break, but a lot more queries lined up on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still with us on Your Stocks this afternoon. Shahina, Mukadam as well as Vaishali Parekh are here to take all of your stock queries. Well, Vaishali, just before we, broke into break, I just spoke about how a lot of these financials are weak today. What would your approach be towards a couple of these? Bajaj, the likes of even IndusInd Bank, which is down. We have Kotak, which is a bit sluggish today. So that stock is down around 1.3%. Your overall take on the Bank Nifty?
So Bank Nifty right now, it's a mixed view because a few stocks like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, they are showing strength as compared to the other stocks that we mentioned, Kotak, etc. So I would say focus on, I think stock specific should be the way to go because right now Kotak Bank, IndusInd has also broken the 200-day moving average support level. So I think now the crucial support lies at 1430. So I would say that yes, IndusInd could be a buy at lower levels, but Kotak and HDFC also for that regard, as far as trading strategy is concerned, is a hold right now. We would not give any view, but view is positive on Axis and ICICI.
Okay, all right. View is positive on Axis as well as ICICI Bank. Let's get in a query now. We have Vinay, who writes to us from Mumbai, holds 800 shares of Vodafone Idea, which is bought at 14 rupees, is a long-term investor, is asking whether to remain invested. Well, successful FPO completed, a lot of news with regards to the entire telecom space, whether the turnaround has come or not. Shahina, what would you recommend on Vodafone and any kind of investment in that particular counter?
I think, one can continue to hold Vodafone as of now. The FPO and the fundraising program has sort of, has given it a temporary relief. At the same time, I think the balance sheet is pretty stretched even now. And we'll have to wait and watch if they are able to retain their market share from current levels and grow it. So I think it's better to hold it as of now. You can keep a stop loss. And the sector looks good, but I'm not sure about Vodafone for the longer term. One needs to watch it.
Okay, all right. Would you have a recommendation on the technicals of Vodafone, Vaishali?
So yes, purely on technical terms, actually Vodafone has corrected quite a bit. And it has been taking support time and again on the 200-day moving average. So I would say 11 is the stop loss. 15 is the near-term resistance, 15, 15.5. Once we see this moving past 15, 15.5, we would see the stock surging towards 17. So purely on these levels, one can hold this stock.
Okay, all right. Let's get in another question now. Shraddha writes to us from Mumbai, holds 30 shares of ABB India, which is bought at around 3,346. So very good price there. Is asking whether to stay invested or to book her profits. Well, a lot of these MNC companies have been in focus. Shahina, what would you recommend on ABB, considering that, it's a huge profit that Shraddha is sitting on? Do you think that she should probably cash out or hold on?
Well, it's expensive at current levels. At the same time, some of these large MNCs continue to, attract premium valuation. Also, the segment in which it is, like the T&D segment, is growing pretty well, 15 to 20% growth for the overall segment. And now the larger orders that are coming through, I think companies like ABB will benefit in the longer term. We are seeing very strong order book growth also that we saw in the last quarter, continuing to see that. Maybe some bit of softness will come because of elections in the near term, 1 or 2 quarters. At the same time, I think if you're a long-term investor, one can continue to hold for the longer term. You may see some bit of consolidation in the medium term.
Okay, all right. You might see consolidation in the medium term. The stock has risen 91% on a 12-month basis. Vaishali, do you think it has more to go?
I would say yes, keep a stop loss of 6,200 because the trend is intact so far. And currently it's at a support level. So if market is really surging high from here, I think capital goods are also going to continue to do well. So I would say 62 as stop loss and look for a target of 6,600 to 6,800.
Okay, all right. Well, Rahul Kumar now writes to us from Bangalore, holds 30 shares of Yes Bank, which is bought at 20, long-term investor, and wants to know what to do, whether to remain invested or to sell at current levels. Well, what is your recommendation? We do have the numbers which are coming out, Shahina, on Yes Bank. One, what do you expect from them this quarter, and how is it as an investment thesis?
I think it makes good to continue investing. Keep your investment even at current levels. Numbers should be good. We've seen last quarter also balance sheet has been improving, and price to book is also not too expensive at current levels. There is going to be some M&A activity, which actually could be a sentiment positive. So I think one can continue holding Yes Bank.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Vaishali? What would you recommend on Yes Bank?
So technically also my views are quite similar with Shahina's because it is showing, chartically it is showing strength. It is getting into a trend. So I would say, well, now 24 acts as a good support level. And I think gradually the stock can go towards 30, 32 for now. So yes, it's a hold for now.
Okay, it's a hold for now. Well, we have Munaf who writes to us from Hyderabad, holds 220 shares of Biocon, which is bought at 389. He wants to know future prospects of his investments. Well, for Biocon, numbers are still not out. Syngene reported what was a mixed set of numbers because their outlook seemed to be quite strong. What is your expectation, Shahina, from Biocon for this quarter, from the medium term, considering that the integration of Viatris is over?
Yeah, the numbers I believe will come in next month itself. But I think, the numbers for this quarter may continue to see an increased finance cost, increased pressure on profits. At the same time, I think the top line should be reasonably strong. And we have had a number of products for which they plan to, file. Do their filings. You have your biologicals in which they're doing pretty well. Peptides is another area that is likely to show decent number of products in the medium term. So I think all in all, Biocon in terms of valuation, considering its investments in Syngene, is reasonably. It's not expensive at current levels. So if I'm a long-term investor, I would continue to recommend to hold Biocon.
Okay, all right. You'd recommend to hold Biocon from a long-term perspective. Very close to its 52-week high, Vaishali. Do you see further upside on the technicals? And what about the fact that, the query is that the buy price is 389?
I would say, in fact, one can add more because after a very long time, this has been a laggard. And after a very long time, technically, it has given a breakout about 305, 307. And today's volume is also exceptionally high. So I would say he can average it out also at around 305, 307. These are the levels where he can because the strength is seen. And if we sustain at these levels, I think it's ready for a target of 350, 360. So Biocon for now is a buy.
Okay, all right. Biocon is a buy as of now. Well, we have Rahul Tiwari who writes to us from Mumbai, holds 25 shares of MCX at 3,616. He's asking if he can add more shares. Well, Vaishali, would you recommend that?
Are we talking about HCL Tech?
MCX.
Well, MCX has really run up quite a bit. So I would not ask to add more, but wait for a dip, say perhaps at around 3,800. That would be a good level to get into the stock again.
Okay, all right. And what would your recommendation be on that one, Shahina?
Yeah, to get a decent return, it's better to buy this on dips. Of course, FY24 was excellent in terms of growth. And now we'll have to watch for new products, how they launch, and also their costs, the software costs, which were on the higher side, how they manage it. At the same time, I think, this will continue to do well over the medium to longer term. One can always buy it at dips for better returns.
Okay, all right. So that's on MCX. Well, we have Praveen Parekh, who writes to us from Gujarat. He holds 90 shares of ICICI Bank at 721, is asking if he should remain invested or to book his profits. Well, interesting one there because numbers are out tomorrow. What would your recommendation be on this one, Shahina, ICICI Bank?
Well, it's one of the better private sector banks. Of course, there's HDFC Bank also, with a price to book of just about 2.3 times as of now, and return on assets of 2%. Tomorrow the number should be pretty decent, so one can continue to hold.
Okay, all right. You can continue to hold on that one. And ICICI Bank on the technicals?
Well, so this is comparatively having a better trend. So these two banks, that is Axis Bank and ICICI Bank, they both are having a good trend. So I would say, keeping in mind that 1,000 should act as a support, I think I'm looking at a target of 1,200, 1,250 from here. So from my side also, it is a hold because the trend is quite positive.
Okay, 1,200, 1,250 is the target coming in on ICICI on the technicals. Thanks, ladies, for joining in, and hope you have a great weekend as well. We'll see you all next week. We need to wrap up on the show, but here's a programming note for our viewers. Our Friday special offering, Editors Roundtable, is now coming at a new time. Catch the biggest market headlines of the week with expert analysis from market veterans and our editors every Friday, now at 3:30 p.m. So that's an hour from now. Don't forget to tune in.